Big up my brother Darkos, yeah?
What is going on, Interwebs, C4IQ, another castle. This time joined by someone that not many people might know. If you don't play good games, you won't have seen this person. You wouldn't have followed them on Twitch, which you should do. My guy DonCon, how is it going, man?
Oh, it's going good, man. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. We were saying beforehand, as people can see by the title, the graveyard streamer. We're going to talk about one of, I would say, the top-notch guy when it comes to streaming a dead game, quote unquote. And I think it's a subject that no one really talks about. They kind of go, well, if I have to go in a Discord call to get a match, the game's dead. But as you self-titled the best MVCI stream tournament, that's you. So before we talk about that, yes. I mean, we're gonna get into that. Because I think it's super interesting that you pretty much gave yourself that title, but no one can argue with it. Which
I don't lie.
Exactly. I love that energy. But yeah, I think just for people that don't know, how did this all come about? Was you like doing your own sort of streams? Was you always streaming tournaments? How did you get to this stage of doing like BB tag and MVCI so much?
Okay, so like I'm kind of a late bloomer to the FGC. So like I used to be just a player, competitor. So I played fighting games my whole life. Now I'm a geezer. I'm geezed up. I'm like under a year from 40. So like I don't look old, right, but I'm old as shit. So clock's ticking here. We're but neither here nor there. But really, I started competitive fighting games in 2012 with Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, so that's like I played fighters my whole life, but like not even knowing FGZ existed. Just like I played Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo, crushed that, and like all the alphas, everything that came out, anything Capcom, I bought and played. So once a buddy of mine got into it, he was playing all of them, like Street Fighter, Marvel 3, and Cross Tekken. I got in on Cross Tekken once it launched. Got it launch day, started going to tournaments, and then once they kind of I don't know, I fell in love with Marvel 3. Like Marvel 3 is a phenomenal game, one of the coolest looking games, coolest playing games that ever exist. So I crushed Marvel 3, like local champion too, like did very, very well for myself.
Okay.
And funny enough, Ralston Arcade, my partner in crime, which you'll see on Thursday nights as well, he does all the hard work. So he hosted a local every single Tuesday at his house, and that's at Ralston Arcade. So that's where the title comes from. Right. So we did that for years and years, and then things fizzled out. Like the local FGC or the era that I was in kind of aged out. Street Fighter 5 didn't really have the hype that everybody had, and then everything got splintered as far as what games people play and stuff like that. And then like I was still hanging on the Marvel 3, me and my boys. So then from there we just once Infinite launched, we're like, shit, it's back, baby, we're back. Right?
The 10-year drought. The 10-year drought.
The drought, like we are in here. And then so Infinite launches, 0 locals, like no interest whatsoever, right? Like that get clowned on hard. So I was like, whatever. Like we're getting out there, we're getting older, getting families, stuff like that, careers. So it's hard to commit a night to week consistently to travel and grow that. So I said, forget, let me just stream an online tournament just for local boys, get some games and have a good time, have some fun. So we do that. And Mike gets in on it. Mike's like, hey, I'm kind of getting an itch because like he stopped his local probably I think like 2016. So then he was kind of getting the itch to get back in it because he loves bracketology, right? And he likes stats of players. He likes all that stuff. So he kind of does the admin stuff that I'm not strong on. I handled like the production side and everything. And we meshed together really well. So we started the weekly. So the first few weeks are okay. The locals are showing up, right? We get like a modest like 8 to 10 people. And then it just nosedive because people were like, okay, we're not feeling this. Okay, good enough. So then as a Hail Mary play, we just posted on Reddit one day. This is like Gauntlet 6 or 7. And that's where we picked up the likes of XC, Mango for Tango, Bane Hollow. They trickled in, Jaco Man and stuff like that. And then it just exploded from there. Because like even out the gate, we had pretty good production, stuff like that. We learned a lot out the way, but like the focus was definitely quality, no matter what scale we're doing it on. Like, and then for there, just took off and got some good momentum. Pandemic helped quite a bit because everybody was stuck inside, so they had to watch something, and that helped us grow quite a bit too.
That's super interesting. So I didn't know you started in Cross Tekken because I kind of started in Cross Tekken as well. That was kind of I played the games before it, like Street Fighter 4 and all that, but cross-tech was when I started going offline regularly with Fury and Jammers, always shouting them two out. That's when I got competitive. I was like, this game is the best. Just don't play with gems. I'm too sick to play with gems. I'll beat you without them. It doesn't matter. You can take all my fries. I don't care. And I had the same issue with MVCI. I think the VODs are still on my channel where I would go to a warehouse. I think I had like 3 or 4 PS4s, and I would always like put games in them for like tournaments and locals and stuff. I got MVCI. I'll take it to this warehouse, and then the numbers it went from like 25 to 22 to 18 to 10 to 5, and then it got to that point where it was like, I've got more consoles than players. So
yeah, rough.
What was the point? So it kind of fizzled out. We definitely had a good run. We had some good players playing it, but there's only so much you can do. But the interesting thing was the Reddit part. And I don't normally say good things about Reddit, but it's really cool that you've got a good story involving Reddit.
And I'm not a Redditor. I don't use Reddit. Like if if a Reddit link gets suggested to me like as like a Google search or something, I'll go. But like I'm not someone there talking and spending my day there, right? That's kind of before my time. It was just kind of like just Twitter's sometimes screaming in the void how it serves your data. Facebook, you're only getting people that you know. You know what? My Aunt Mary doesn't give a fuck. So you know what I mean? Like how do I market this better? And it was just, and I never even posted to Reddit really again after that either. It just kind of opened things up a little bit, just enough where it can get us some eyeballs and get the word of mouth, and it grew from there. Now obviously it's still modest size, but like we're the king of the ashes, if you will.
I mean, that's a pretty interesting way of putting it, but I'd even got a Reddit account. Like I'm the same with you. If I search Google and it says Reddit, I normally go, I'll keep scrolling because I've seen Reddit's opinions on like tournaments, games, commentators, and I'm like, if I can't find any other source, I might go back, but it's normally the last source. But it's cool to kind of think that a game like MVCI had people on Reddit, because that, like you said, when you go on Twitter, you're not really going to see those people, right? Because it's such a niche game.
No, exactly.
It definitely makes sense. So that was kind of like the origin story, and something you said, and I've heard you say it on comms as well, about it doesn't matter if you're streaming to 10 people or 10,000 people, the quality is always going to be the same.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're asking people for their time, right? Whether it's 10 people, 10,000 people, like what are you doing streaming at the end of the day, right? Like I like people say, oh, chill, casual, whatever. Well, that's I don't want to diss people, right? On how they do their thing and stuff like that. This is just my mindset going into stuff. Like I am asking people to take time out of their day to watch me, like, and watch what we do. Why am I not going to give them 100% value for entertainment as much as possible? Not always saying that we deliver on that, but that is absolutely the goal, right? My mindset is never not to respect your time that you're taking out of your day to watch and enjoy and consume what we're doing. So it's all about providing the best entertainment possible for the time that you spend here, in hopes that you come back and continue to enjoy it.
I'm not just saying this because you're on here, and there's probably going to be some clips out there where I've said it before, but not to blow smoke up your ass, you probably have the best production in fighting games free.
Like, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Easy. The fact that you can make me stay up at 2:00 in the morning to watch a dead game.
I appreciate that, dude.
It has to be said. And if people haven't seen it, I'm almost embarrassed when I stream after I've seen like your posters, the production. Like I said, you got the stats. The stats, I've never seen anything like it. Not even on like the Capcom production stuff. That thing is too good.
I appreciate it, man. The stats I can't take any credit for. That's all Cataclysm. He has spreadsheets on top of spreadsheets. They're all public too, so if you want to look out records and stuff like that, and it's just getting more and more robust by the day. And again, like he actually comes from a sports betting background, right? Like he was like basically a legal bookie. So like that's his wheelhouse, right? In bracketology and everything. So like if you notice like how our stuff runs efficient, like I'm not taking shots at anybody else, but there's no one else that can run a bracket as well as him and be respectful of people's time, right? Because who has 5-6 hours? Maybe when you're 18, right? And you don't have a lot of things on the table, but if you're like an adult, right? Or like my age or a little bit younger in that 10-year window, right? Like 5 hours of your evening is a lot of time. So we try not to do that. So like most tournaments we run, the stuff is done within 3 hours, at most. And even if there's hiccups and stuff like that, we know how to compensate and everything. So it's just be respectful of the people participating, have players playing the game, and then always having something on screen for the audience to consume.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, big shout out to Cataclysm. I actually want to talk to him because, like you said, I think when I kind of sat down and thought, damn, you done an MVCR tournament for Japan in America. Like, the logistics
Canada,
of that, that's insanely difficult to do.
It's tough. With the time zones, language barrier, it's tough.
Yeah, like when I'm watching tournament, I'm like, oh, this is cool. And like you said, the size doesn't always, you can't always appreciate the hard work because of the size of the tournament. But then yeah, after the tournament, I was like, that must have been insanely hard. Like you said, the language barrier, the time zones, and between like you and your little crew getting that together, that's actually insane. And yeah, like I said, I would like to talk to Cataclysm about the TO inside because I think he's flawless. Like every tournament, he'll have some random stat that I didn't know I wanted to know, but I'm glad he told me. Like many times Power Stone's won the gauntlet. I'm like, I didn't care about that. I don't even like Power Stone, but it's cool that I know that now.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's on top of it, and like, and it's funny because then it like, because people have these thoughts and theories like, oh, my seed should be better, whatever. Well, it's 100% based on data. Like, it's not like we're just like everybody's like, oh, DonCon, your opinion's so capped and shit like that. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, right? Like that shit's subjective. There's nothing subjective about like how we do things because it's all based off factual stats and stuff like that, right? We're not doing it off of, oh, I feel I'm the best. Well, maybe you are, but you didn't prove it in our bracket. So enjoy your 18th seed, asshole.
I mean, you can't argue with the paper. Paper doesn't lie.
No, it doesn't, right? And so you can have whatever opinion you want. That's fine, but we got actual hard data.
That's my kind of logic. I love that kind of stuff. What I was gonna say is there much of a difference between doing MVCI and BB Tag? Because that's the other game you do, right? Both games kind of went in that direction. I think BB Tag kind of had resurgencies every now and again.
It does, yeah. It has its peaks and valleys, but the rollback helped a lot.
Yeah.
So they never had rollback, so we were getting it out the mud, right? And but yeah, the rollback was a good boom. I find with the BB Tag players, like, it's a much younger player base, so it is a little bit different in approach and stuff like that. Like, we're wild on Thursday nights, as you see, right? Like, we're animals, right? We're drinking half the time. We're not even talking about the match. Like, we're wilding out. BB Tag, it's like we still have that energy, but it's like kind of toned down for a younger audience. Just so like at the end of the day, like I have 18 on my channel, so like if you're under 18 and you get influenced to say some wild shit that I said, and you go say it to your mom, and then she gives you a Ric Flair chop, that's on you. Your parents failed you. I didn't, because the button's there. Accountability, right? Yeah. Accountability. I'm not your accountability. Yeah, I'm not your accountability buddy. That's your parents failing you.
That's so sick. So it is kind of interesting that you, like you're saying, I guess because of when the games came out, right? You still got the generation, the old generation, like Jayco, Destroyer, joining the MVCI tournaments, and with BB Tag, there wasn't much of a like. There's no legacy behind it. Like, yeah, you might have. Now. Yeah, you've got Persona, people that play Persona, but they didn't necessarily go to BB Tag. Same with units and stuff like that. Was the reach out for BB Tag the same as like MVCI, or was it more natural, or?
I was like, I opened it up quickly. A similar path, right? Like, it's called the Big 8 because originally it was supposed to be an 8-person tournament, right? Just 8 local guys will grind it out, play it, enjoy it. Bada bing, bada boom. Then, of course, locals taper off. Well, it's called the Big 8. I need at least 8 players, so I forget how we marketed it again. Maybe Reddit, maybe something else. I can't remember, but we just said let's just open it up to the wild and release the Kraken, and it took off. And it's funny because I don't have any anime background at all. Like I used to shit on Blaze Blue so hard because I'm like, especially at locals and stuff, I'm like, why are you playing this dumb shit, dude? Play Marvel. Like, this game is so much better. You're playing this sucky freaking cartoon shit. Get it out of here. But I eat my words now, right? But yeah, and I don't know. BB Tag is unique in the sense that a lot of the BB Tag players, like the hardcore BB Tag players, are just BB Tag players. Like, it's sometimes, like, some of them, it's like their first fighting game or their last fighting game, and like everybody tries to branch out, right? Like, we thought everybody would naturally go from BB Tag to Strive, especially where BB Tag was dwindling at the time. A lot of people tried it out, tried everything, but they always come back to BB Tag. So there's that comfort, that love there, and it's a really good game. It's super fun to play. Like again, like I shit on anime games like crazy, and I probably will continue to do so. To be fair, right? I'm probably gonna talk some smack about some friggin' Grand Blue versus horse shit or something.
Okay, I'm down.
But yeah, no, people always come back to BB Tag, and it's super enjoyable. It's easy to pick up. You can play a lot of characters. It has a diverse roster. It has a lot of IPs that people like. I think a big thing is the Ruby fandom too, right? Like people love that sucky cartoon, which brought a lot of people in. So
it was such a weird interaction where they put the IP in there. I thought they were just brand new characters. I thought they were original creations. I was like, what? Ruby Heart? These 3 characters? Okay, whatever. Or 4 characters. And then there was like an influx of like those anime people. I'm like, okay, if I need a motivation to beat you, now I've got it. But I think my team was a little bit too honest. I played Gordo and Narukami. It's a little bit too honest. Gordo's a bit cheap. He's a bit cheap, but
he was. He paid for the sins of everybody and got nerfed to the dead. He's like worse in the game now.
You know what he was? He was a week 1 Sentinel in Marvel 3.
Oh, he was, yeah, and he was very good. I was a Gordo player.
And then you played tank, right?
Yeah, once the tank came out, like once Gordo got nerfed, I was like kind of floundering the next 2 patches, and then I saw the tank. I'm like, how is anybody not picking a tank? They put a tank in a fighting game. He's weird and clunky, but once you get used to him, tank's sick.
Yeah, that game is wild. I was gonna say, so I like anime games, but in the sense of like, I guess when I was back in my day, they didn't really call them anime; they just called them air dashers. I like air dashing games.
Yeah. So like your Guilty Gear and stuff.
Yeah, but it always felt way slower. But there's no name for like, you don't call a game slow air dasher or slow anime. Like Eunice is quite slow. It's more quote unquote Street Fighter-ish, right? So I feel like the anime title doesn't always kind of pinpoint what you mean. And I feel BB Tag is way closer to Marvel than any of the other anime games.
Because the pace is high, yeah. It's a very fast pace. You still have that 2v2. You have those because with Marvel, every Marvel game you have that's just Marvel shit happening, right? And you have that with BB Tag. So I don't know another way to put that in context, but just the wild, crazy scrambles that you wouldn't be able to replicate 1,000 times over if you tried, even if you did the exact same circumstances. It's just that weird shit that happens, right? So it definitely has a Marvel spirit, and goes along with the MVCI stuff well, right? It's a tag fighter where you can switch in and out, not as fluid, of course, but yeah, like we're big fans of BB Tag. We tried to branch out into some other stuff, didn't do too great, but part of it was like half-heartedness on our side too, because we didn't really truly love the games like we like Tag and MVCI. Yeah,
I was about to say, I think a lot of it, if you've watched the stream, again, if anyone hasn't seen it and they're listening to this podcast, go check it out. Go check the VODs, ICU Hater, will be in the descriptions, right? You can tell that a lot of this is due to you liking the game. Like, I think it's clear just because of the energy, and it sounds kind of cliche, but you can tell that you're not getting paid to do this. Like, there's no funding that you're going, oh, well, I've got to stream MVCI tonight to pay the bills.
No, we got bread, dude. We got bread. We're grown adults. We got good careers. So this is a love of the game thing, right? And like, I find that's how you're gonna compete with that, right? Like, we're not punching the clock. We're not doing it just because, I gotta do it again. No, man. I say Thursday's the best night of the week because it is the best night of the week because the gauntlet's on.
Okay, so with that said, what do you think about, what do you think? You've given yourself that title, right? The best MVCI stream, hands down, free, anywhere on the planet. Yep. Do you say that because it's kind of like you're the best by default? Or do you think like, well, if I did this for any other game, I would be the best still?
As long as we love the game, yes. We're probably not going to win the popularity contests. So, like, just say, for example, Spooky was still streaming and he was doing Street Fighter 6 and we were to do Street Fighter 6 and we love the shit out of Street Fighter 6. I guarantee you that if you chose to watch us, you're going to be more entertained, you're going to be more visually impressed, and things are going to run more efficient. And that's just facts. I'm not saying that to diss anybody. I just use him because he's an active, his jerseys in the rafters, and he pioneered a lot of this shit. But I'll tell you right now, head to head, like if you are a fan of the game and you want to get the best experience of watching that game, despite the players and stuff like that, you're going to get the best experience with us. And I'll tell you why, because how many times did you look at people's streams and like even we might be talking about life shit here, but like one thing I don't do with anything as far as like broadcasting goes or anything like that, you won't look at anything that we do and that I looked at and said, oh, good enough. Fuck good enough, dude. There's like if I see something that I don't like, I do everything I can to change it, right? There's nothing that you're gonna see on our end that I'm just saying that's good enough. Because it's not good enough. That's just why. If like just say I'm limited by skills, I will learn those skills so I can change it. If I'm limited by equipment and stuff like that, well, there's lots of alternatives and workarounds and everything, right? I might not be able to change it right away, but it will get done. If there's a will, there's a way for a lot of different stuff, right? So and I find that's a lot of the FGC shit's like that, right? Because like there's so many online tournaments now, especially since the old panty wanny hit. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to run a tournament, and it's throw up a scoreboard and do your best Yipes impression, and like that's garbage, and it's not the best. I'm sorry, like it's not the best entertainment for anybody that wants to view, and then they wonder why their numbers are down and shit because, well, you're not doing anything special. You're just following whatever, and there's no innovation, and it's just like I don't know. It's frustrating to see sometimes, especially when you see talented people do it too, right? Because like even like with the dead game and shit like that, with 2 dead games, one thing that we have to do to keep things fresh is innovate constantly. So like doing like that Royal Rumble type of events, doing like the character only events. Like we have a unique rule set in BB Tag, permadeath Astral rules, which we say is our tournament standard. Which if you get hit with an Astral finish, that character's dead. And so like you're I don't want to say you're burdened with innovation, but if you want to survive and grow and thrive, you have to innovate.
I 100% agree. I think a little bit of my kind of motivation to do that was from watching your streams, because I'll look at your streams and you'll get like 100 people for a game that's dead, and I'll do Dragon Ball and get like 30 people, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I have to be doing something wrong. And obviously like talking to you, I'm trying to get those answers while, you know, having a conversation like for everyone else to listen to, right? So that's why the Reddit thing was so poignant to me, because it's like, yeah, maybe I should just do that, or maybe I should just, you know, chuck a link in Facebook every now and again. But in terms of like production, I remember when so before I properly started watching your streams, I had the replay in between games, because I was just like, if I can do it, I am super illiterate when it comes to like tech. Like I know the bare basics, and if I don't know, I know how to YouTube and Google, and then I'll find out that way.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, as soon as I see someone do it, I'm like, cool, Google will tell me how they did it. I just have to, you know, I'll have to do a little bit of searching. So I did that replay thing, and I saw you had it as well, and I'm like, there's so many other streams with way more people, bigger teams behind it. I'm like, why are they? This should be standard. We, like you said, with the pandemic, we had nothing better to do than get the production level higher.
Yeah.
And I want to copy the stats thing. It's too late now because I've already done so many streams. It's kind of like, I don't want to retroactively go through every VOD from the beginning of Dragon Ball to get those stats. But I was like, oh, well, if I stream, you know, Street Fighter 6 or Project L or whatever, I would want to do that, because now I've seen it, and yes, it's hard work, but there's no reason it can't be done.
Oh no, exactly, right? And like you're talking to the stats and stuff. Like when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Right now.
Yeah.
But you know what though, dude? You have rollback coming, so you can do like BC and AD, dude. Post rollback stats. Now online matters. Online matters more than ever now. Because there's none of that. You're lucky, you lagging bitch. No, that's out of here.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're not wrong. I hate that you're not wrong, because now you've taken my OS of being lazy away, because there's no reason not to. It's not hard. If I'm sitting here, like on my stream, I just do the production and I'll get other people to commentate. So I'm literally just looking at the screen. There's no, I have no excuse to be like, oh, there was a DR mark on a Google Doc. There you go. Oh, that person teched the DR. That was the 17th time. And I think, for me as a commentator, I feel those stats might go over most people's heads, but it's always cool to have it, and it's super informative. It gives you stuff to talk about in between the breaks. Like I said, Cataclysm, when his part comes up before top 8 or just before top 8, it feels like you've caught up. So you might have missed all the matches prior. You might have missed like a month's worth of tournaments, but when he tells you how many times, I don't know, J Command's won versus Coggins, you feel like you've had like a brain implant of an update, and you feel like you've been there from the beginning. And yeah, I feel like if you guys can do it, no, obviously no shade to you guys, but if you two can do that, why is no one else doing it? It should, that should be the standard.
Yeah, well, it's not like we're using resources that aren't available to us either, right? Like it's like everything's available to everybody. We're it's not like we have like money's not the threshold barrier, right? Because like I think some people use that as, I don't want to say use as a crutch or excuse. There's obviously good equipment ups the production quite a bit, but there's so much stuff outside of that, like little nuanced things that sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? But if you're looking for that extra polish, it's there and it's available to you.
I think one thing that I'm like, I know I definitely can't copy is your posters, your flyers. Like, they are insane how you keep them fresh considering how many you've done.
Yeah, I recycle them sometimes, but for the most part, just make a fresh one. In reality, like that's just like another skill, right? Like I'm not a graphic artist. I never learned how to learn too much shit in that regard. It's all self-taught. And part of it was actually I used to work for BlackBerry, if you remember those things.
Oh yeah, I had a BlackBerry.
Yes, so I worked for them, and right up until the handheld side went down. So I always had access to their a thing to build their user interfaces. So I kind of learned how to use Photoshop and GIMP from that. So whereas making custom interfaces for Blackberries and stuff, and it's funny because I made these and I had like all kinds of different people using them. So like Alistair Overeem, who just got popped for drugs, he was using one of them. Rampage Jackson was using one of them that I made, just because they all had Blackberries at the time too, right? And I also was working on this MMA website with a guy, so yeah, I kind of had these connections, so I got these out to them, which is kind of neat. But neither here nor there. That's where I kind of learned how to do graphics myself and video editing. But again, if there's something you want to do, like you try to do something, I can't do it. Well, where are you getting stuck? You know where you're getting stuck at. So then Google where you're stuck at, and then get past it. And then you get stuck somewhere else, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, in this day and age, there's very few excuses that you can have, especially in this sort of environment. Like you said, normally money's not the issue. As long as you've got the PC and you've got a good enough internet connection on your end to stream it, you've kind of got yourself covered to a degree. That's why I wanted to bring up like the Photoshop part, the stuff you've done in the overlay, that stuff you can replicate or copy. But I think your sort of like vision for the aesthetic, that's kind of your thing. And along with that, I don't know if you want to tell people or explain, because I know them because I've seen them, but the like formats that you've done. So on my end, a little bit preamble, on my end, I really don't like double elimination. Not because I don't like the format as much, but it's because everyone else was doing it. So my streams are just round robins. I think it's different. It's a little bit more engaging. I think it's better for some of the players because mine's kind of like a qualifier to something else. So when a new player comes in, it's not like, oh, you lost to the two best players in the tournament, now you're out. You know, you can lose 5 times. At least you get some more games to, you know, learn what's going on. So I kind of like that format. At the beginning, I tried to implement the possibility of ties, and I stopped because the times were some streams didn't end for like 4 or 5 hours where everyone would just tie. So I dropped that idea and went, no, it's not double elim still, it's still round robin, but there's no tiebreakers. Just if there is a tiebreaker, I do first to one. I'm like, super toxic. I'm not trying to stay here. First to one. If you lose, tough. And you just get booted. But you've got you've already spoke about the BB tag one, right? The astral kill. That character cannot be selected. Like, they are gone, right?
Dead. Yeah.
It's completely eradicated. And you've also got 5 fingers.
Yeah, so Monday nights, we kind of, like, I play around with ideas on Monday nights. Right now, we're doing the 5 Fingers of Death. So, you have one player taking on 5 mystery opponents, and then the scale of challenge gets greater. We used to run MVCI is Dead, which it's titled that so we can hack the YouTube algorithm.
Nice.
So, yeah. Well, I'll give you the lore on that just because it fucking pissed me off. Like, one day, like, friggin' Furby posts a video Like, he doesn't make any content outside of streaming, like his VODs of his previous streams and stuff like that. So the one day he decides, hey, I'm going to be a YouTuber today. Now, this is not shots at Arturo. I've had a good working relationship with him when we cross paths. So this is not a diss. I'm just telling you where my head was at the moment. So I see him post a video, why MVCI died, in like 2021. I'm like, you motherfucker, you decide to be a YouTuber today and then just shit on MVCI. Well, no, he didn't really shit on it, but I saw that shit and I saw red. I'm like, yeah, people are gonna search MVCI and see this shit. I'm like, screw that. I'm gonna title every Monday night stream where we're just running first to 10 sets, grudge matches, whatever we can do. Best fight card I can put on for that day. And it's gonna be called MVCI is dead. So when someone goes to search, oh, why did MVCI die? They're just gonna get sick fight videos constantly. And you can do that now. Like, there's hundreds now, right? So it's flooded. I infected the system. That
is fucking genius. That's so fucking sick. Because
it was out of spite, but it worked.
Good motivation. It was good motivation, right? I think, I mean, a lot of the things I do is because of that. I've said to like loads of people that the reason I got into commentating was because when I was playing, people chatting shit about my character, saying, oh, you're just random, you're just rushing them down, you just face rolling, you're a fucking crayon wielding maniac and you just got lucky. And I'm like, I'm gonna jump on commentary and tell you why you guys suck. So I get that energy where people are talking shit and you use that as motivation to like prove everyone wrong or to, you know, elevate your skill, right? Yeah, I think I didn't know the law between that. I just thought it was like the ironic name, but that is a good way to kind of combat people talking shit about your game. And I guess we're both in the same boat. Like, if someone says any shit about Cross Tekken, I'm the first one to say, like, you fucking just don't appreciate fighting games. That's the only thing that makes sense. How can you not like that game? It had I do it a little bit with MCI, but I think it's a little bit harder because I can't fight aesthetics. So when they say the game doesn't look good, I'm like, oh, well, that's your opinion, bro. But no one ever talks about like balancing, because I'm like, this is probably the most balanced Marvel game you're ever gonna see.
Yeah, like for a Marvel game, but it's not balanced to the point where it's boring, right? So yes. I find it struck the perfect medium there. You still have really good characters, and you're like, wow, that shit's broke. But even some sucky characters still have some broke shit to them. So yeah, it's pretty fair and balanced. The aesthetic is take it or leave it, right? Some characters look good, some don't. And at the end of the day, all that shit's subjective. Like, I don't even get mad at people coming in and saying, oh, dead game, this game sucks, blah 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 blah, whatever. Like, well, you're here watching. Give me the opportunity to win you over. Because I will, because I'm actually smarter than you, you stupid idiot.
Is that the bit you whisper, or you hit mute on the mic? Yeah, the last bit.
No. We let it rock. We let it rock. Like, thank you for your patronage. I appreciate you being here. I'm gonna prove you're dumb and win you over right now, idiot.
Do you get that much, like people coming in to talk shit about MVCI or BB Tag when you're streaming? Does that happen often?
Zero for BB Tag. Zero for BB Tag. No, okay. It's mostly people, younger crowd, right? They like, not to say that there isn't the toxic mofos in BB Tag there, but they're all like kind of ousted and they don't really come around. But but like the 09ers and previously, those are the guys that kind of come through that never played MVCI, and they just like come in and just say shit for saying shit because that's what they do. But really, for the most part, it doesn't happen that much anymore. More you get curious. We be getting more curiosity than anything else, right? So I can't say that oh, people shit on a game and I have to fight and defend it. No, that's not the case at all. It's we get curiosity, and sometimes you win the battle, sometimes you don't, right? So
okay, that's good to hear, because I feel, you know, Twitter's probably jaded my opinion, because on there people give unsolicited advice or opinions, and I think it's a little bit different when you're streaming and people come in to say negative shit. Like, I'm not averse to like combat when it comes to people's opinions. I kind of like it, but I feel with something that you've done where you're trying to give people that still like the game a platform to play on and get people to see him and appreciate not just the game but their skill, because that game is fucking hard. Like, MVCI is real fucking hard.
It is, yeah.
To see the level of play, I think sometimes you can transcend like, oh, this, you know, Chung-Li's face is butters, but Bane Hollow's godlike. Like, you can't say he's not, right? And I like the aspect that you guys bring to MVCI. I don't watch BB Tag all that often, but BB Tag isn't an ugly looking game where, I can't defend Spencer's face. I play Venom. It's not a problem for me. He looks fucking great. But if you want to play Spencer, I'm like, I don't know, man. I personally couldn't look at that face in T mode for more than like 10 minutes.
Oh man, it's rough. Yeah, he looks like Encino Man for sure.
Yeah, it's fucking rough. So yeah, like you said, opinion based stuff, and it's kind of objectively some of those characters are ugly. It's fine, but when people come in to talk shit about, oh, why are you doing this? Like, have you ever had that like internally? Like, oh, what's the point? Like, no one cares about this game. Why don't I bother? You're fucking part of the Capcom creators, and you're like, I could do bigger and greater things, but you stick to MVCI. Is there any other reason why you love the game?
It's fun. It's like the best. Like, I love the 2v2 system. Like, I like the community that we cultured and everything. Like, a big part is the community for sure. But as far as like the game goes, like, I really enjoy the game. I love how it plays. Like, the fast tagging in and out is the best tag system they ever did. There's no better tag system. Like, BB tag system is not as good. Power Rangers tag system is not as good. I can't really comment on Tekken because I didn't really play it. I had it, but like only derped around very little, so I don't have enough opinion to comment on it. But I will still say that MVCI's tag system's better. I like the characters a lot. Right? There's no clone characters. There's no like it's everything's so diverse. And again, you said the balance and everything, and you can do so much cool shit in it. And like, you have the sky's the limit creativity because of the Infinity Stones and stuff like that. Like, I was posting some YouTube shorts, and I got some stuff from the MVCI Jam, which is our yearly combo contest. And like, the stuff that people do in Time Stone is insane. So Time Stone, if you're not familiar with the game, you activate it, you're way faster, and everything links into everything. So it's just like Mugen for 20 seconds. Yeah. So you can do the most insane shit ever, and you're like, wow, like, this is like almost better than X Factor level 3 with certain characters, right? So like people will say like the combos are way swaggier and flashier in Marvel 3, and like they can be because X Factor is so universal, but like, you have the right stones and the right character, you can do shit that you couldn't dream of in X Factor either, right? So it's give or take. But yeah, like, I don't know, I just really, really like it. And I tried other games too. Like, I gave Strive a fair chance, and like, I don't hate Strive, but there's times where I was playing Strive and I'm like, I'd rather be playing Marvel. And same with Melty Blood. Now, Melty Blood, I was just like, I was meh. And we tried doing stuff like that, right? Just to sort of see where our BB Tag player base is shifting to. And they were pretty meh on it too. They just want to go back to BB Tag. We brought BB Tag back, and it was stronger than ever. Yeah,
I think it is, again, one of those things that you can try and persuade, but you can't always convince someone, right? Especially with something like Guilty Gear Strive, where it's like, there's always the argument of like, liking the game or being able to play the game. Like with Strive, you can just play someone instantly. You won't have to DM anyone or fucking send a letter by fucking carrier pigeon. Like, you just
active.
Yeah, it's so active. It's kind of like it's hard to go, can't play MVCI. I mean, I literally did that. I literally got a bunch of Guilty Gear players to play MVCI, and it being 5-panned and rollback was probably the linchpin. It was probably lit, and I kind of downplayed like how much I played it prior. So they'll jump on, I'd pick fucking like Arthur and Black Panther and be like, oh, you guys are real good. And then like a couple of weeks later, then I pick my main team, right?
Yeah, Robodope.
Yeah, a little bit of gaslighting is not that bad. Just a tiny bit. Just don't light a lighter in the room when you gaslight them. It's fine. But yeah, those elements, once you kind of meme about the looks and like, just don't pick the ugly characters, right? Unless you like Dante, then you just have to fucking hold that. Unless you're gonna buy the costumes, you're gonna have to hold the ugly face. But once you look past all of the, you know, the social stigma of it and the fucking aesthetics, a lot of those players that came from like Dragon Ball and Strive were like, this fucking game's insane. Like, to them, it is a Mugen game, and to me, it's like, it's a fair fucking Marvel. It's like, if you think that's dirty, this is the only thing I think of when people talk about, oh, that's unfair. I'm like, have you seen Incoming Zero Mix in 3? Like, this game is fucking way fairer than that shit. You've got like
incoming mix-ups for the most part. There's no inescapable incoming mix-ups. Marvel 3, you can't say that, right? Because you have even like you think the Firebrand stuff, but like also you ever fight a Dirt Nap team? Good luck. Lose a character, X Factor, you're done.
Yeah,
That's it. You're guaranteed 2 characters dead.
That, yeah, people. I mean, this Evo, people are gonna find out about fucking Jam Sessions, Dirt Nap, and they're gonna ask questions, and there's not gonna be any answers for them. Like, could you escape that? Probably not. No, I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, the little intricate things in like MVCI about you can't hit high and low on the same frame. They're just everything's a hard to blockable. They can be extremely hard to blockable, but they're not unblockables. Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, is there a difference at that point? Probably not. But with that being said, the false hope is there at least.
Yeah. And as a commentator, linguistically, I can say, oh no, he could have blocked it. He had a chance, a fucking slim one. Like, Doctor Strange could look in every timeline and there'll probably only be one, but he could have. And
exactly.
You might have had to been, if you're not in hitbox, you're probably never blocking them, to be fair. Hitbox is the only way.
Yeah, I mean, it can be rough. It can be rough. And like you see in the lockdown super shit, right? Like you want to speak to Bane Hollow. Once he gets the lockdown super with Winter Soldier and you get the Chun-Li in, he does whatever he wants, right? He probably, and even if you're taking that, right? Because like obviously that's kind of the more broken shit on the side of MVCI's side of things is the lockdown super. But like you give Tyson in the box with Gamora, he probably has like a 98% hit rate. Like he's guaranteed to get hit 98% of the time with just that solo character. He has a box in the bar, you're getting hit.
Yeah, I think it was like, it might have been a VOD, so I'm not sure when it happened, but I saw him do something I've never seen with Gamora, which was fucking wild. He had him in the box and he got cross-up guns somehow.
Yeah, he's been doing that a lot. So it's the clone. So like if you do it really low, I'm not exactly how he replicates it, but like it shoots one way and then if he goes and then he like does it the other way, like during the cross-up, and then the guns, like you kind of get like a crisscross with both the bullets, and it's insane.
Yeah.
And he does that well now, so it's all the time, and sometimes he does it on incoming, which is insane. Yeah. So like obviously Tyson's very much elite, so it's hopefully we'll see him tonight. But he's been hard on the Street Fighter 5 lately.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's grinding that, so he's starting to stream and stuff. I think he's getting ramped up for Street Fighter 6.
That makes sense. Like I said, I think a big thing about your stream specifically, and the stats help this, is that you can see real good players. I remember stuff like Joel Kevin from Marvel.
Oh yeah.
When he went to Street Fighter and people were like, oh, this new Rashid. I was like, new Rashid? This guy was like a Deadpool overlord. Like he knew that character inside out, and same with Hawkeye as well. So it is cool seeing that, and it's cool to hear that you've got players that are like prepping to get exposure. I'm sure they'll still play Marvel if they've got like a tournament scene like yours. They've got no reason not to, right? So that would be cool. There's one thing I've always wanted to ask you. Do you like Skullgirls?
I only tried the phone game and it was just whatever for me. Like there's nothing that really attracted me to it, but there's not. I never gave it a fair shot. I guess we'll say we'll just leave it at that. I never really gave it a fair shot. Like there's a few games that like if we're talking fighters outside of MVCI and VV Tag, there's one that I really like, Battle for the Grid. Battle for the Grid is pretty sick. Outside of that, which I would probably go out of my way to actually play, not too much. Like I'm excited for Street Fighter 6 though, because I like all the Street Fighters. I always like I'm not a Marvel guy, I'm a Capcom guy, right? So
right.
I always get the Street Fighters. So hopefully we can get something cooking on Street Fighter 6. Like we're gonna give it a little bit of time just to make sure that this is something I like and enjoy and all that. And then if it wins me over, then we'll go from there.
Can I quickly try and give you like a 1 minute elevator pitch for Skullgirls? Because I think we probably come from the same point of view when it comes to if we like a game or not. So when the game first came out, they didn't have, Beowulf, that character.
I heard the name, I couldn't picture him.
Right, so he's a wrestler and he has a chair and he uses a chair. Yeah. So but he was DLC. So when the game came out, I was playing, they literally had an all female cast. And I was like, nah, I like brolic characters. I really like brolic characters. So I was like, it's cool. I'll play it. This looks cheap. I'll do that. That character came out. I was like, shit, this is the guy. His chair kind of works like Cody's knife, but in a Marvel game. So you would do a normal, pick up the chair, which will reduce your recovery frame so you can link into another move. He could throw it. It's a projectile, but it can be a low projectile.
Oh shit. Okay, that's wild.
In a tag game. And in that tag game, you can make your assist any move that they have. So you can make it crouch light kick if you wanted to.
Oh wow. Okay, so you have that level of customization?
Yeah. Is
it a 4-button game or a 6-button game?
6-button game.
Oh shit! So you have like light, medium, heavy,
Yeah.
and then your assist calls.
Yeah. And tag.
Holy fuck!
And tag. Yep. And they've all got different tags. So some Beowulf, his is a cross up. He just comes out from the other side of the screen with a chair round the back of the head.
Good God.
Yeah. Like
It's chaos.
If you watch Beowulf, I think that's the only way you could be drawn into, because that's how I got drawn into it. It was only Beowulf. I could appreciate the game, but that character is like a lot of my childhood. With like the wrestling aesthetic, it's just like Ric Flair literal references in his kit and stuff. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's sick.
And the other really important thing is probably that you can pick 1, 2, or 3 characters.
Yeah, I saw that, and that looks neat, and like how to kind of manage that and stuff. So that seems interesting. I'll tell you, the character that really caught my eye, now that I think back, is like I remember seeing all this wild shit by like the saxophone guy.
Oh yeah,
and you could like and you play all the notes and stuff in their combos. I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like compilations on YouTube of like Big Bang Supers where they will play fucking Mario Party, fucking the national anthem and stuff like that. It's pretty funny. It's pretty trolly. But the only reason I say that is because that game was heavily inspired from like Marvel 2.
Marvel 2, yeah.
I mean, I didn't even ask you. Do you like Marvel 2? Other than it being a Marvel game, did you like play it much? Did you enjoy it or?
I played it when I was young, so I guess how young was I? When did Marvel 2 came out? That would have been 2000. So no, it wouldn't. Fuck, I would have been like 18, 19, but no knowledge of FGC. Like I had it for sure. I try to think what I have it for. I had it for like either Dreamcast or PS2, and like I played it, but it was just fighting the computer and stuff like that. And I didn't really. Right. None of my friends wanted to play that shit, so it was just me derping around. So I don't have that like that nostalgic love for Marvel 2 that I do for like I would look back on it like 3 or something like that. But yeah, like I said, my first real competitive fighter, like playing against other people and everything, was Cross Tekken. So, and then just kind of went from there. And like I tried a few different games and stuff over the years, like the Injustices, which are kind of sick and stuff like that. But it's hard for me to get over the floppiness of NRS games, like the whole dial combo and the way they just flop around. Like it's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah. I'm just a comic nerd, so I literally played all the Injustices. I never played any MKs. It just wasn't my thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't care how you present a superhero to me, I'll play the game.
Okay.
It doesn't matter to me.
Easy sell.
Yeah, super easy. Like Marvel is free. You can put Marvel in any title, I'll play it. Like with DC, I'm like, I appreciate DC. They've got some really cool characters. I don't think it's as good as Marvel, but the whole like comic aesthetic I was down for it. I played Green Lantern. Yeah. I like zoning. And one of the reasons I really like MVCI is that it felt like the last generation game where you could zone as a win condition. Everything after that, it kind of forces you to rush down.
You can zone the whole time in MVCI for sure. Certain characters, right? Not a lot, but like with your Winter Soldier, obviously your Hawkeye, your Strange and stuff like that, you can just play Runaway all day long if you want to go that route. Yeah,
I don't mind conflict in IRL, but in game I hate it. I like being full screen. Hawkeye. I remember when I first played the game, I played Thanos because he's my favorite, like one of my favorite Marvel characters. I was playing Thanos, and I was like, "Oh, how do I get in? Guess I'm gonna have to learn Vadra." So I just played Thanos and Strider, and I was like, "I don't really like Strider, so I'm only playing one character." And Thanos is like, he's okay. And then I was like,
mediocre.
Yeah, when he hits, he's amazing, but getting hit sometimes is fucking a struggle. Super struggle.
Well, he's still a big body, right? So you're gonna have the big body problems.
Yeah. The teleport is good until people know how to deal with the teleport. He's one of those characters. He's good until someone labs against him. And then I was like, I hate scrambles. I fucking hate scrambles. I get more satisfaction out of making my opponent sad that they can't get in. So I was like, let me try Hawkeye. And I remember like week 1, everyone was telling me Hawkeye's trash because you can reflect his arrows.
Yeah, good luck.
I almost got like socially convinced not to pick that character. I always going to pick Venom because Venom, like I've got Venom figures in here and shit. I love Venom. So he dropped and I was like, I'm playing Venom regardless. And I was like, but I need to compliment him. And something you was talking about with like the gem system, changing up teams like so drastically, almost to the degree of like picking a third character. When I was picking Hawkeye Venom, and I would hit someone with Hawkeye and do a Venom combo, I was like, this is perfect symmetry. This is like perfection because I get the zoning with Hawkeye and the damage with Venom. Like it makes perfect sense. And then I would watch your streams, and I'll have like one person picking Hawkeye and then another person picking Venom, but never together. And I was like, fucking one of these days, someone's gonna pick my team. This is before when I was like a lurker and I never said anything in the chat. Back in those days, yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's way back.
Yeah. And then I think it was XQC, I think was the first person who I saw use that team, but he used Power Stone. I was like,
yeah, baby, that purple rock.
Yeah, and I was like, is Power Stone the way? Is EU behind? Are we like lagging? Are we in delay base? Do we not know how good this like stone is? I'm still convinced like space is better.
But yeah, it is. But with the stop sign.
With that team though, I think with that team it's better. But one of the things I was going to talk about the gathering of the scene in EU is a little bit more splintered. So all my takes, I like to back up with evidence or like at least have some practical proof of what I'm talking about. But because there's not that many strong players, I can't necessarily say this is good or bad. Right?
You got Goki who plays a stupid ass oddball team, which how do you pull any data from that, right? Like he'd probably be your number one guy in EU. Yeah.
When his connections allowing him to play.
Okay, so there we go. All right, so I'm glad we settled that. We're talking because he'd play people in the US, pop off, call them trash, and you're like, dude, like it's literally a PowerPoint presentation. What are you doing? And he'd be like, no, all skill, you suck. Which strong move. I would do that too.
I mean, how do you rebuttal that? Like you have to hold it, right?
But, and then it's twist the knife. Like actually, my connection isn't bad, but your playing ability is. I have evidence of the score here being in my favor. Get good, asshole.
Again, the numbers never lie. Like you fucking can't argue with it. He wasn't like that in the EU tournament. To be fair, he was like, oh, I didn't feel it. So I'm like, oh, that doesn't say you're not the culprit because everyone said it. Everyone who came into contact with him in the bracket said, yeah, he's the best. He's clearly the better player than everyone there. Free, easy.
Yeah. He's good. We're shit talking this internet, but he's very good.
Yeah, it's just his connection's not good. So a lot of the players were like, I don't mind that I lost to him. I just wish that I could have learned from it, and you couldn't learn in the lag.
Yeah, because here's what it is. Like, he's just a fucking mashing donkey. that's what you think, right? Now he's probably doing some nuanced shit and everything. And another thing, like if you're the player that lags all the time, that's all you know. You don't know not that, right? So you're like, what are you talking about? The game is normal because this is all I ever understood of the game. So you're like, no, I'm not lagging. You're just stupid.
Yeah, 100%.
So I get it.
It's super frustrating because I'll be teaching you guys like, oh yeah, Sigma's super fucking ignorant. Like you can't let him get started. Don't give him space because he's gonna take that space and fucking juggernaut head crush you into the corner. And then he's gonna tag, then he's gonna put a fucking tornado on you, and it's just gonna rinse and repeat. So I was gonna ask you your opinion on when obviously you've got like a really tight knit community with like the NA players all surrounded, right? And when you guys talk about character strengths and you do like your tier lists and whatnot, do you ever think about taking points from outside? So if I was in your shoes, I'd be like, well, we're the best. Why would I listen to anyone else? That's a pretty arrogant way to look at it, but you guys are the best. So why would you listen to someone like for example, me, when I say, oh yeah, no, Hawkeye and Venom, you definitely play space. Don't play power. You definitely play space. Do you think that your group is receptive enough to think about it, or do you think you guys have almost completed the game so you know better? No,
not even close. So it's kind of like, I don't know. We the player base is not huge, and it's not like it's rapidly expanding. Like we get new players here, they're trickling in and stuff like that. But like kind of the downside, like there's upsides to having a small tight knit community, and there's downsides. The downside is, I don't want to compare it to incest, but I don't know what else I could compare it to. But you don't have any outside gene pool bringing in new ideas and strategies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like, once a certain thing gets established, it kind of stays that way. Now, what freshens things up is like you mentioned the Gauntlet Japan, which we just did a couple weeks ago. Frank West Monster Hunter won that. Frank West Monster Hunter Soul. Like two Monster Hunter can be strong. Frank West not thought of as very strong at all. Put them together, and it looks like unbeatable when it gets going. So that flips everything on its head, right? Because it's just a different group of people, uninfluenced by us, right? The incestual ones, and then you know, like it's just a totally different take on it. And then also, like, Latin America has a huge scene too. Now theirs a little bit closer to ours. There's a few reality players down there, and you got like a lot of more like Ghost Rider and stuff like that. But with that being said, if you go even more like to like actual South America and Brazil, you have a different player base there and different things that they bring to the table. Like One Heroes is incredible from Brazil.
Oh, the Spider-Man player.
Spider-Man player. He's crazy, right? And he
looks
Spider-Man look.
I think he's AI. I actually think he's AI. I've seen him play Marvel 3 as well.
Yeah, that's how good he is. So like, if we could add just a few more suitors to the gene pool, I think like it could help expand the game, right? Like so. Like, I don't want to say that the strategy is stagnated because people are always still trying out new stuff and innovating stuff like that, but it's just not as rapid and not as prevalent, right? You don't get that pardon me, sorry. You don't get that decisive, yes, this beats this or whatever, right? So it's tough sometimes.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I was about to say sometimes it's kind of like I feel from other games where I can't get the incest out of my head. That's gonna get clipped.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go.
I mean, it's the perfect way to describe a meta or a localized meta. Localized meta, right? So, yeah, like, I think I've said it a couple of times in like your chat about how EU just don't rate Power Stone. And
Japan hates it. Okay, so funny story here. I don't mean to cut you off here.
No, go.
So Cataclysm, he went over to Japan probably a couple months before we did the Gauntlet Japan because he takes like a trip there every few years, him and his girl. So he meets up with the MVCI guys and plays in a tournament with them. So they're all shit talking Power Stone, like stupid Americans. They love their stupid Power Stone, like just dodge truck, boom, like just clowning. And then one guy there who's the Power Stone player, he just smashed back Thunder Mugs and was playing Ghost Rider Spencer Power Stone all night and cooked everybody.
Serious.
He got second place. He only lost to Ororo, who was the Frank West Monster Hunter player, but got crushed Thunder Mugs, just got sloshed, and Power Stoned everybody to his way to victory.
Fuck. Because I didn't see the end. I only saw like top 4. So I need to watch the VODs. No spoilers.
Yeah, that wasn't the Gauntlet Japan. That was just the local that they did.
Oh, that was the local. Okay,
that was the local offline.
I mean, that goes in your favor, right? That NA is completing the game.
A little bit, but even like NA players, like everybody agrees, like it's Soul in Space #1, and then this number 3 would be Power.
Okay, yeah, because I've wanted to like have, like I was saying, so normally when I want to like present a proposition, like, oh, I think I'm doing this correctly and you're doing it wrong. I want it to be some sort of like, not necessarily match evidence, because I think with me, in terms of Power Stone, with the group that I played with, I made Power Stone look bad because one, I knew how to play against it to a degree, and two, I don't interact. I avoid scrambles at all costs. So yeah, the purpose of Power Stone doesn't work against Hawkeye, really, right? Against Venom, sure. He's Omega Plus all the fucking time, which is great for me. But yeah, my team doesn't really interact with Power Stone, so you don't get that many opportunities to hit me with it. So a lot of people stopped playing Power when they started with it, because I was like, if you're learning the game, just pick Power. Like, you'll get to grips with your team quicker if you use Power. Then you can go, well, my team would benefit from a teleport. And then a bunch of them started using Time Stone against me because I was playing Hawkeye. I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. I know in your mind, you're trying to visualize just teleporting through my projectiles, but I'm just going to punish you and stuff like that. So they go through all the stones and they went, fuck it, I'm just going to pick space so you can't run away from me. So it felt like I unintentionally taught them a bad tactic to deal with the game, because all they were like, how do you stop zoning? Because I played Arthur and then I played Hawkeye. And this all wraps around to like, when I want to talk to you guys that are clearly better at the game than our region, my pool of information is too low. Sorry to everyone in EU, but the pool of information is too low that I can't go, this is strong, because I haven't done it against really strong players. And I was wondering if you guys over there would ever have that doubt, like, oh, maybe maybe we're not playing at a higher level as we think.
Space is the right tactic for, like, if you're looking for like a kind of a one-stop shop for the zoning. So, because the space surge absorbs a projectile, right?
Yep.
So it gives you that hit of armor. So if you can, you could, between the reflex and the space surges, that can help you close the gap. Another thing is just regular fighting game shit, right? Observing the patterns and stuff like that, and matchup knowledge. So for Hawkeye, for example, right, he's usually shoots ground arrow, then shoot jump arrow, ground arrow. So like where I play, I'll usually play Gamora in that matchup, or sometimes Thanos, because like obviously teleport character can close the distance. And if you can teleport to the other side of them and tag, and then you get your little sandwich going on. Also, there's like the good players, they just reflect everything. That's the reality of it, right? Good players will reflect everything.
Yep.
And then other than that, like, it's just stuff specific to your team, right? Some characters are going to have a very hard time dealing with it. Other characters, you're gonna have means of getting around it, right? Like I play Gamora, I'll just fucking shoot you back, and if you hit me with one of your arrows and I hit you with my guns, I get a hard knockdown.
Yeah.
So then I can either close the gap or maybe even dash across the street and confirm it and stuff like that. Or like, for example, if you're overcommitting with whatever arrow, I just teleport with Thanos, Power Stone, yeehaw, party started.
Yeah. There's a lot of like matchup things and
there's matchup specific stuff. But like if you're playing like Hulk and stuff like that, and you're picking harder characters that can't deal with zoning well, then this is the test. A tale as old as time, really, right? You're gonna have Dalsum Zangief. That's what it comes back to.
Yep. One of the guys that shouts to Tony, when he first started, he was, I'm like this as well. I'm gonna play the characters I like first of all, and he was playing. I think the first team he landed was like Hagar Hulk. And I was in his stream, I was like, don't do that, man. Like, I know you like these characters. It's not the way. Like, if you're learning the game, don't start with this. You're just going to have a miserable time and you're not going to come back. Like, yeah. So he went, oh, okay, you know what? Thanos is cool. I'll pick Thanos. And he was like, who should I pick with Thanos? I might have been a bit like swayed from your streams. I was like, just pick Gamora. Like, you can't go wrong with Gamora. And he's like, okay, you learn Gamora, father and daughter, whatever. And he was going ham. And he was like, and I said to him, well, I know you like big bodies. Now that you've got an understanding of the game, you can swap Gamora for Sigma. And he went full on fucking crayon wielding idiot mode. Like, he only knows how to face roll forward. And I feel like so I felt like I erased his mind of all the stuff he learned to just do fucking crush, like juggernaut head crush at people.
Tackle teleport is so good. Like, you give Sigma a teleport character, you're gonna they work very well together. Like, you don't have to spend all your meters on counter switch because they're big bodies, so they can just tank the health. Yep. I mean, there's their downsides, right? Like, they're very, very victimized by lockdown super and stuff like that. They're Pringles because they're big and tall, but man, they are good, and it's easy to play. Baby's first character is Sigma. He's so easy to play.
It's super sick because I think it's a part of the game that some Marvel games don't have. So I think Marvel's got a really good blend of like something that's easy, but it feels good to do. Where like the other Marvel games, it was literally just like ABC launch, ABC knockdown. Where when Tony was learning, he was learning like a B&B with Sigma, and it had like a rejump in it. I was like, that combo is cool. He can definitely do more, but there's more, and you can like extend with a laser and shit like that. I think it's got like a really cool blend of accessibility, but it still looks dope to do. And I don't think most Marvel games have that. It's a very big gap from like beginner to almost optimal in that game. Like the way that it's balanced, like you do the smallest combo or the longest combo, where in MVCI, because you got the whole sort of tag crash or with the guard cancel. Like I was in the lab for like literally like 2 hours going, I want to TOD you without giving you 2 bars. And I play Hawkeye, so I'm close. Because I've got poison.
Poison's ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's such a unique thing, I feel, to Marvel Infinite that again gets overlooked because they look at fucking Chun's face. And they fixed it. They fixed it. Fuck off. Well, it's normal. They put mascara on her. They put some mascara there. It's
I mean, no. If you look between the two, like she just looks like a regular Chun-Li now. Like I don't get it. Like she just looks like a regular ass Chun-Li.
she needs to give the foundation to Spencer then, because he.
Yeah, no. If you want, like, Spencer looks hideous. Like, he looked like he washes and dries his face with sandpaper. Like, it's awful. And same with Dante. Like default Dante.
Yeah.
Like, just these people look like they've been stepping on rakes their whole life. It's awful.
Let's see some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what I was gonna say. So, you was talking about sometimes when people come into your chat, you give the best performance or the best showcase of the game. Have you got like one or two like bullet points of things that you want to get across before someone leaves your stream and go, oh, it's just the MVCI dead game? Is there like things that you try to promote about the game before people leave the elevator with your elevator pitch?
No, I don't really fake the funk, really, because if they're coming to do that, like, they're probably they're either someone who's just messing around, but they're still gonna watch, or they're just in and out. Like, let me shit on Infinite real quick, and then I'm gonna go friggin' to Pornhub. So like, you don't know what these people's motivations, but we definitely had people stuck around, and like, I'll say, hey, give it a shot, let me win you over. That's basically the pitch. Like, I promise you, like, if you stick around, you're gonna enjoy yourself here. So and I don't get into too deep to that, because like, if you get into anything too nuanced, like, nuance doesn't sell, really, right? Like, you appreciate it, like, once you won the people over, that you'll appreciate it. But like saying, oh, watch how we did this here in this sequence, right? Like, if that's not a sales pitch off the rip, right? So it's just usually it's more vague, more general. We're here to have a good time, so if you stick here, you will have a good time.
Okay. I mean, super wholesome, which is weird. I'm not used to you being like that. Oh, one other thing. Actually, no, I was about to wrap it up, but there was one other thing I wanted to ask you. Have you ever thought about commentating other games? Like, for other people, shall I say? So not on your stream.
It's hard, right? Because I have a wife and kid and stuff like that, and then they're very, very supportive of me, and they're very, very like I do this 3 nights a week, and and plus all the extra shit that goes into it outside of just the live broadcast. So like, the time that I'm not doing things related to this, I want to make sure that I have dedicated to them. So that's where it makes it a little bit tough. Now, like, am I against taking opportunities to present itself? No, but like, I don't find myself to be like a commentator, if you will, and like, I don't even mean to seem commentator like that. That makes me seem like a dickhead. But like, I love commentary. I'm a commentary connoisseur, right? Like I love Michael Chiavello, like from like doing like the Dream and K1 and shit like that, like and Mauro Ranallo. So I love good commentary, and but with that being said, like, half the time I'm talking to the chat and being an idiot, right? So like, is
that's commentating.
It is, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you see people like going with the really specific and smart shit, and that's not really how I flow. Like, my mind's always like keeping it entertaining. Not to say that isn't entertaining. It's just that's not playing to my strengths. Me hamming it up with the chat or my co-commentator, that plays to the strengths. So but to answer your question, like, we did do commentary for Combo Breaker. Me and Cataclysm, we did comment top 24, but I would definitely be open-minded. Other games, I don't know other games, so it'd have to be something within my wheelhouse. Otherwise, it's kind of goes sideways quick there. But I'm open-minded, right? Like, yeah, you gotta show me the contract.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a pep talk for you, because you don't need it. But
yeah, honestly,
I think you're one of the best commentators, purely because you when you stream, you're playing. Streaming and solo commentating sometimes. Yeah, that's so fucking hard to do. Like, I know people that get stumped when production's talking to them while they're commentating. I'm like, you only have to focus on one thing, and then someone whispering in the back, and you don't even have to talk back to them, but you're talking to the chat, running the stream, and playing. So I think that alone, yeah, that makes you one of the best. Like, when it comes to multitasking, there's very few commentators that can do that, and I think you have the ability to talk beyond the game. So I don't notice it much, but you don't really talk about like frame data. You'll say plus or minus, and to be fair, that's all people really care about. That's all.
I don't know shit about frame data, dude. I don't look that up. It's just my take is you'll get punished or not. That's about it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
But like, going into like the negatives and pluses and shit like that, I'm not trying to forget my childhood studying that shit, dude.
Yeah, I honestly think there's obviously you get different types of commentators, and I think the type of commentator you make games relatable, which is very, I'm going to say is very rare now, because I think a lot of commentators have pressure to commentate to existing players, where you can do both. You can say if someone punches someone in the face, you will say someone got punched in the face. Where most commentators would be like, oh, he got hit and now he's in 18 frames and block hit stun. He could have linked into that. And I think that goes over a lot of like casual players' heads. And especially with a new game coming out, I think you should try and do it. Like, that's my 2 cents.
For the most part, like it'd probably be here. I mean, there's not really anybody kicking down the door, for being completely transparent here. They're not lining up. But that's okay.
I mean, you could say that's down to the games that you commentate, right? You don't get noticed.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, maybe. Well, that being said, there's like a lot, like I like the fact that we were able to like foster our homegrown commentators here, like with your JB and Coggins and stuff like that, and even other people they had over in and out throughout the years, right? And our BB Tag guy shows to a bloody demon. Like I fire him every week, but yeah, like this is like the first time he started commentating, and now he's doing stuff all over the place. So like, yeah, I like doing commentary. I enjoy myself. I have fun doing it, but like I like to take more of a Vince McMahon role approach to the whole scheme of things. You know what I mean? So like you say, like I'm commentating and playing because my focus is on entertaining at the end of the day. As far as like I'm probably gonna play not my best, but I'm gonna do my best under the circumstance. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I feel when you do play on stream, you're playing on stream so the viewers get a spectacle, not to win as much.
Yeah, because like I'm not naturally talented at fighting games. I have to do a lot of practice and hard work, and I can get good, and I can compete with good people, but it's just there's only so much time in the day. Where do you want to put your efforts at, right? And I want to put my efforts into putting the most entertaining broadcast on 3 nights a week. So with that comes sacrifice, which comes L's on stream, which I mean it sucks. Like I get mad and I swear at people, and I mean it. But it is what it is, right? So
it's some of the best parts, some of the highlights. When I'm like falling asleep to your stream, it's like you talking about how fucking stupid like Darknet players are. Like that sticks with me.
And I mean it. It's conviction. I mean it. You can't tie their shoes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you was gonna take it to like the big leagues, you'd have to probably filter out the swear words. But I think the back and forth with chat that needs to. I think that's gonna start being what people want to interact with chat. It feels very like too formal, a lot of the commentary from my experience and what I see people doing around me.
You did the big times, right? You are big time C4. You did the Dragon Ball World Finals. You hit the pinnacle of your craft.
I did, I guess. I did. Yeah.
There's no higher, right? Unless you're doing friggin' javelin at the Olympics. Like you're not like that's up there, dude. Like you're killing it.
I'm trying. Sometimes I think I just dropped what's it like, you know when you play those FPS games and you get the drop. I just spawned in the right location.
Yeah.
Which, you know, everyone has that. I was speaking to other commentators and I was like, how does it feel to live in California? Because you get all the opportunities before everyone else in America. And they're like, spawn location. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool, fine. And
yeah,
I got those opportunities with like World Tour, living right next door to France, and Best of a Bad Bunch. You know, anime players aren't normally known for being sociable and being able to talk. So yeah, me being able to have a filter, like TOs will come up to me and say like, you won't swear on mic, will you? And I'm like, nope. And like, come over here then. It's a pretty low bar. Pretty low bar, but I do think
that's the FGC's motto, dude. The low bar. Like you like you're building us up and giving us compliments that I greatly appreciate. But dude, it's because we're tripping over the bar, and the FGC as a whole fucking sucks, dude. I don't even know why we do this. So we're being honest. We're reflecting here.
Every day.
I'm kidding, of course, but like I'm being half serious because the bar is very low. It is very low. So like, as far as putting on events or even like any aspect, right? Like. Like being a good player just isn't good enough. Some is, but you have to have a personality. You have to have a good production. You have to have a good schedule. Like you can't just feel that I'm good at this, so I should be entitled. But you know what? Like watching your shit is like going to Catholic church. It's fucking boring. I don't want to do it.
I guess it is like that. I think
it's like that sometimes, right? There's other people that aren't that great, but they're just bursting with personality and they have that kind of it factor. And I don't know, man. But to get back to what I was saying, like I find the bar very, very low. So that's why, like, as far as that whole good enough thing, like, if you start saying good enough to shit, that's when you're just succumbing to the low bar of the FGC. Respectfully, I'm not trying to insult people doing the best they can or anything like that. That's if you're doing the best you can, then that's all you can do. But if you're not, and you look at some of your shit and you say, it's good enough, fuck you.
I mean, I 100% agree with you, but I feel I have to like, you know that fucking meme with the army guy that dives in the way of the guns and the daggers and shit.
Yeah.
I have to do that now because I've got the same thing. I've got like a mortgage, I've got a kid, and I do well, that's my OS. My reason for not being as good as I could be or better than anyone else is because I've got to do this shit, right?
But again, you're working with the parameters the best you can.
No, but you have the same OS I have, but your production's better.
Dude, I was out all day driving my kid because he's getting his driver's license. He's learning manual. My kid is almost 17. He takes care of himself. He's a money pit at this point.
He's just devouring cash like fucking Venom, right? It's
just a cash zombie, yeah. But all serious, so obviously we love each other, spend time together and stuff like that, and like it's just different level of time commitments. But like, just the way like your time frees up is a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, just if anybody can level up, just don't say good enough to shit, dude.
I mean, I guess that is the good way to end it. Get good. I think if anyone in the chat who does put like production or commentating or anything like that, or plays games they don't really like playing, want to go be depressed, go see ICU Hater and see how good you could be at life in terms of fighting games. But dude, if you've got anything any shouts, anything you want to ask me, let me know, dude.
I appreciate you having me, dude. I really do. But obviously, I look forward. I appreciate the work. I respect like the world final. I was bragging to my kid about you today when we were driving. I'm like, dude, do you know I'm going on a podcast today with a guy that commentated the world fucking finals of Dragon Ball? Does your child brain even process this in your mind right now? Like, I know your frontal lobe is still developing, but do you understand the magnitude of this? Like, I'm gonna buy a solid gold car just in advance. Like, but yeah, no, I do appreciate the opportunity here, man, and thank you for having me on. And we hope to have you on the Gauntlet very soon. I don't know when this goes live, but maybe it's post-mortem.
Yeah, hopefully not. I mean, I'm going to try and not die on fucking comms. It's going to be a late one, but I've got an energy drink. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm so excited because I've tell a lie. I've commentated MVCI once, and that was like winner stays on week 1 when I knew fuck all. So, yeah, I'm super excited. I get to commentate with you. Should be sick. But yeah, no, like I was getting a little bit cringe because we keep fucking throwing compliments at each other. But yeah, it's much appreciated that you jumped on, man. Like I said, there was no one better to talk about streaming dead games. For me, again, like we come from the same place, Cross-Tech and MVCI. I think it's super important to see these games still being played. And if you've got people like you out there that are cool with facilitating a genre of game that people still want to play and show off their skill, it's always a good thing. So yeah, like I said, the description will have all the links to DonCon stuff. I want to see you in his ICU chat later, and we need to play Snap. I'm going to try and get a Snap tournament, and I'm going to do an invitational, and I'm inviting you.
I'm curious how you make that work. We'll talk offline and not worry about the logistics, because I love Snap and I want to. I'm curious to see how you make that happen. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm still doing the paperwork, trying to do logistics, but I'll definitely let you know. But yeah, I don't want to eat up too much of your time. That is it for another Castle podcast. Cool. All right, in a bit, guys. Peace.
Thanks for having me. Later.
Big on my brother Darkos, yeah?